But daddy is a state of mind, you know what I'm saying? I'm your daddy.
Let's go.
Get up on y'all. You gonna learn today.
Daddy, chill.
Call me daddy.
All right, let's go. We're back. No headphones. I'm freed up. I got no sound. I'm in a room here. My producer's here now instead of there, behind a glass. You could hear him if he giggles.
Hey, what's up, crowd?
Hey. Let's go. Lots to talk about today. I don't even know where to start. I want to start on the main topic. I want to start on what everybody's talking about right now in the hobby is the Wander Franco situation.
You'll hear me cry in the background, by the way.
Everybody's crying. If you have Wander cards, you are crying, okay? I talked to two big investors in Wander, and they want to just bend his fucking cards. They're so pissed right now. But it is still speculation. If you don't know what's going on Sunday, came out all over Twitter, all over Reddit, supposedly Wander was with a 14-year-old, whether that's whatever way that is. We don't even know yet. It's still speculation. The downside of it all is the damage is done. It really is. It reminds me of the Trevor Bauer situation where the Dodgers took action. They cut him. He was released. He had to go through all this legal stuff, all these court hearings and all this stuff. And now what? The guy's pretty much blackballed from the MLB, and he's playing in Japan. Nothing happened to him. But with this Wander situation, it's extremely sensitive to what's going on right now in the culture and how there are people out there that think that is acceptable. And as a dad, myself, of two girls, that shit is not acceptable. So even if he is innocent, even if he comes out and he has all the proof that he did nothing wrong, it doesn't even matter. The fact that there's any inclination that he was close to the situation or that he, whatever it might be, it doesn't matter. The damage is done. People have their opinion of him now. We're already bending cards of Wander on the live. We're bending them. He's done. And the damage is already happening in the hobby. So if you have those cards, I don't even know what to tell you to do with those cards because his cards are already being chopped in half, not physically chopped in half. The prices of his cards are being chopped in half. And it goes to something that I've been talking about offline with other people. It's like, where do we go from here as collectors if we're going to have to be constantly worried about these guys having off-the-field issues? DUIs, abusive relationships, pedophiles, rapists, drug charges, all these things off the field that you have to worry about as a collector now. It makes me think, hey, maybe I should start telling people, hey, you know what? Maybe just go to vintage. Go get some vintage cards. Instead of putting that money, look, you're putting money into a card of a 17, 18, 19-year-old kid who just got that $4 or $5 million signing bonus. If I was 17, 18, 19 and got a $4 or $5 million signing bonus, I know what I would have been doing back then. I would have been partying and going buying stupid shit and probably getting into some trouble. So that's the line that you have to figure out when you're collecting. Because the last thing you want to do is invest into these young kids and then something happens off the field. And that's coming from someone who rips Bowman. That's what we do is Bowman. So what do we do here? Go to Pokemon? Pikachu ain't doing fucking nasty shit.
Charizard ain't touching no kids.
Charizard's not touching kids. It's crazy. I'm mad in the sense because we're telling people, buy Wander, go invest in Wander, rip the product. We were ripping that stuff all the time. One of our biggest supporters, Scott from Suicide Boys, we pulled him the red Wander. He's got gold Wanders. He's got the blues. He's got all these colors. When I talk to him on the phone, he's like, tell me this is not true. Tell me this is a fucking, some bullshit lie. And I go, I don't know. But it doesn't look good. Especially when you're talking about, like I said, as a father, it's like, no go. No go. If I was a teammate and I knew that this was real or this was happened and he was in the locker room, I'm taking that guy out in the locker room. What the fuck are you doing, dude? What are you doing? You're the hottest player in baseball on one of the best teams in the league, and you're getting wrapped up in this? And like I said, a lot of it is speculation. But the damage is done. I don't think you can come back from this. Trevor Bauer didn't. I don't think, like Fernando Tatis with the steroids, there's no coming back from it. Because the opinion is out there. And now it doesn't matter. Someone told me earlier today that he was on Instagram Live saying that it was a lie, that he's not involved, all this stuff. I don't know, man. There's pictures of you with this girl. And if she was 14 and you got pictures with her, I can't defend that. I'm sorry. But the flip side of that is that what is she? She was driving with a bottle of alcohol and she has a kid, supposedly?
Yeah, there's some weird photos of her out there in the world. But I mean, again, we don't know. Nobody knows at this point what's going on with this girl. I don't think anybody knows even what her name is at this point. But, I mean, Jesus Christ, man. Jesus.
All the Twitter posts were coming through, and they're all in Spanish. Yeah. So I'm hitting on my buddies. I go, can you translate this for me? What is she saying? What's going on? Oh, man. It makes me want to tell all my big spenders, hey, go buy a Mickey Mantle. Go buy a Babe Ruth. Go buy, go buy into either vintage or Pokemon. Because now, I mean, imagine how many stories would have come out if we had social media like 30, 40 years ago. These guys would be done. There wouldn't be an athlete around.
All of them, yeah. Today we're ripping 2033 Gaudi today on the stream. Like, what are we doing? Where are we as a hobby now? Like, I don't know anymore.
It's getting it's really bad. It's really bad when you have somebody with Wander Franco was a generational talent. He's a generational talent. And for that to happen, I mean, imagine that happening to Mahomes, Ohtani, one of those guys. The hobby would crumble.
I mean, we've been talking about him since he was literally 15.
Yeah.
Like, this guy was baseball Jesus for all things considered. This is honestly probably the most shocking thing I've seen happen to an athlete in a very long time.
Yeah, this is not good. Not good. Moving on, I want to talk about some other things. I didn't get to touch on this last week. I wish I could have, because we had Jesse from Case Breaks in here. But what goes through someone's mind that they think it is okay to scam or do anything shady? There's not a card worth your reputation. There is not a card worth your reputation. If there's a card on this table right here and I knew that I could fucking get it for $100,000, it's not worth my reputation. And when I'm saying, I'm talking about Blake's Breaks, Blake Martinez, who went from being a football linebacker in the NFL to having a break page in cards. And I don't even know the full extent. You might know a little bit more because it was more with the Pokemon stuff, but they were loading packs or they were weighing packs or something.
Yeah, they had done a few things, but another guy had bought basically a booster box of a product from him, and they were on stream literally like, hey, guess what's going to be in here? And they were literally calling out the cards that were going to be in the packs before they opened the packs, meaning that the entire box was loaded. And it's another super unfortunate thing. Like, just, Blake was going to open a $350,000 box for Heritage, like soon, like very soon.
Yeah.
That's not happening
That's
anymore.
not happening.
That's not happening. He was about to be on top of the Pokemon hobby. Absolutely on top. Nobody's ripped a first edition booster box since Logan Paul did it. Nobody's done it. And he was about to be the next person. And to see this happen is just
Listen, Heritage, you want someone to rip it? I'll rip it. I know nothing about Pokemon,
Daddy Rips will rip
but
that
I
shit.
will entertain the shit out of that
Oh,
live.
fuck yeah. It'd be better than Blake anyways, dude. It's boring as hell.
I also heard, and I don't know if this is true, that they said that there was a certain amount of hits and they were pulling from a box on the side.
Yeah.
And they went through like 30, 40 packs without
Yep.
hitting a hit.
Yeah. And then somebody rewatched the VOD and saw somebody basically find a pack on the side and kind of like put one away or take one and put it in and stuff like that. Super shady shit. And it wasn't even Blake doing it, but the fact that it's under his company and like he didn't stop this shit, speaks volumes. Like, this is unacceptable.
Yeah, you can't have that. And that goes to one of the things that I try to stress. It's so hard. It's so hard to find people that are team players. One, they're trustworthy, and they have to realize that it's your brand they're representing, not their brand. They have to realize that it's your reputation, not their reputation. So that person who you might only be paying that person $15 an hour, they don't care. They're only making $15 an hour. That $500 downtown they're swooping, that's a big come up for those guys. And that's why I'm trying to, as we grow as a company and I'm bringing these people on, I want to pay them. I want to go, I'm asking all these other breakers, what are you guys paying your breakers percentage? Oh, it's that? Okay. Then I can come in and go, listen, the highest paid breaker over here is at this percentage. I'm going to give you X percent because I want you to walk in that fucking door and I want you to work your ass off and know that I'm taking care of you. But it's so hard. It's so hard to find somebody who's like, I want to work at that level with you. It's really hard to find those guys. They're not everywhere. Look at Puax. Mikey has that team dialed in like a fucking radio station. He's fucking dialed those motherfuckers in. You're here, you're here. He did a video the other day. Where he was like, meet my team. And I know those guys. They love their job. But when you, like, Blake, what are you doing, Blake? What are you doing? I used to draft you in IDP leagues because you were a tackle monster. He was. He would get like 15 tackles a game.
Yeah.
He was a stud.
Yeah. Should have kept his first job.
Go grab a clipboard and go coach now.
Yeah, no kidding. Can't rip Pokemon anymore.
Speaking of football, we have two big things that happened this week. Dalvin Cook to the Jets. What? And Zeke to the Pats. I would have never. That is the last team I thought Zeke would go to. Right? Would you agree?
Zeke to the Pats feels alien to me. It's nowhere near the top of the list of where I thought he would head. But, good for him. I
And they got paid. Both of them got paid pretty well.
They both got paid, which is what they wanted. You know, that's what they were looking for first and foremost. But like Dalvin Cook to the Jets, I mean, come on. Come on, man.
They already have Breece Hall and Michael Carter.
I mean, if you're not excited at least to see what they can do creative-wise, it's not a bad year to be a Jets fan. I think this is the most promise they've had in years.
I think this is the best team that they've had since Rex Ryan took them to the AFC Championship game with Mark Sanchez.
And Mark Sanchez to Aaron Rodgers.
Yo,
I mean, that's a upgrade right there.
Yeah.
That's from McDonald's to, you know, I don't even know what.
In-N-Out. That's right.
Something. I don't know. Maybe a steakhouse. I don't know.
Gordon Ramsay's Burgers. Sleevey made my business partner, Sleevey. If you guys don't know, his name is Matt. We call him Sleevey. Sleevey Wonder. It's probably one of the greatest names in the hobby. He made the best point. He said Bill Belichick loves pass protecting running backs, and Zeke is that guy. He can
very true.
Block. But I was the last team because we all know Zeke's antics. We all know, you know, he comes in with that shirt up by his titties, walking in with his belly out, carrying Chick-fil-A into the game, like just stuff like that. So it was an interesting choice. Everybody freaking out about the running backs. Oh, the running backs aren't making as much money anymore. It's like, you know why? Because they're a dime a dozen. Yeah. And you know why? You got guys like Deebo Samuel, who could be a wide receiver, a running back. He can light up at tight end. He could probably throw the football. I think that's the direction a lot of these teams are going to start going.
Yeah, it's tough when, you know, the days of Larry Johnson running 400 times a season is over.
Way over.
We will never see that happen ever
Sean
again.
Alexander, Marshall Faulk.
And it doesn't help that NFL running backs are not even touching the ball that much and still getting more injured than any other position in the NFL. There's just it's tough to rely on a position that is easily replaceable. Put Deebo back there. He's doing great.
Yeah.
He's killing it.
And Deebo, I don't know. He doesn't take the hits. It's like he knows how to avoid the big hit and avoid the crunch.
There's got to be some sort of study that like figures out why running backs stay. Like, look at Frank Gore. Dude played till he was a grandfather.
And he was always injured in college.
He was always injured in college.
What happened?
He had terrible college luck. It was the reason why he wasn't like ever on the field, even though he was super talented.
And it was the reason why he didn't get drafted that high.
Exactly.
Is because of his injuries in college. And then he comes in never get hurt as a running back in a predominant running league.
What happened to those running backs? Like, I don't know where they went, but like nowadays, like you can't count on Zeke. Look at what happened to Todd Gurley. That's really where it started, right?
Oh my gosh, yeah. Like Gurley was supposed to be the phenomenon, the next guy.
Yeah, he literally signed a $50 million contract and then like never ran for over 700 yards ever again in a season. I don't know what the science is behind that or why running backs are tough, but the reality of the situation is you can just replace them with a Deebo-like player.
Yeah.
Christian McCaffrey has his lane because he is also really just a wide receiver.
Yeah, he is.
He can catch with the best of them.
He can do anything. Yeah, and that's why look what the Niners' success they had without Christian McCaffrey. When they had Mitchell running the football. Before that, the guys that went to Miami, I can't remember the two. I'm a Niner fan too. This is embarrassing.
Oh.
I can't think of their names. But they're like a Rolodex. And guys like Shanahan can just go, this is your role. You're a third down, pass blocking, and sometimes going to catch screens and do all this. And this is your role. You're going to get us three yards every first down. I just think that those guys are just a dime a dozen now. It used to be the wide receiver role was like that. Now the wide receiver role is expanding because it's a throwing league. Nobody runs the ball anymore like the West Coast offense. You know, look back then when Sean Alexander, like you said, guys like Sean Alexander, Chris Johnson,
LaDainian
Tomlinson, Marshall, all these guys, you knew they were going to get 30 carries a game just without doubt. And now it's just not that. It's just guys are getting 12 carries,
Yeah.
15 carries.
If someone gets 30 carries in a game, literally sports talk radio shows are freaking out the next day. Oh, he's going to break down the rest of the season.
He's done.
They're like, I don't know if he's going to make it, DR. Like, what are we going to do?
What are we doing? Yeah, oh my God.
We got to change the tires. Like, what are we doing?
I don't think any of the running back records will ever be touched again. I think they're pretty safe.
Oh, LT's 31 touchdown year, never touched.
Never touched.
Never.
Unless
again.
CMC has unless CMC this year has like 20 receiving touchdowns or something.
They got to throw a lot of screens, man.
The other two running backs that are still kind of floating out there, I've written down Fournette and Kareem Hunt are still floating around there.
Yep. Yeah. Fournette, I haven't heard anything about Fournette, which is weird. He's always like very viable. Like he never gets like a ton of touches, but like he always averages over 4 yards a carry. He blocks pretty well. His hands are stoned, but we don't worry about that. But like,
do you think Brady kind of gave him like a resurgence to his career? Because when Brady got there, he had just come off the injury, and he was kind of just there. And then Brady kind of just gave him this like confidence, and he started catching the ball a little bit better.
I mean, he's a big body though. Like it's the same thing with Zeke. I think if you're looking for a blocking back, he could definitely be that guy. Dude's 6'2", 230. Like,
you know who I miss?
Oh.
Lev Bell. Those were some of the greatest games of all time is when Ben Roethlisberger and Le'Veon Bell would have 120 rushing yards. He'd have 100 receiving yards, and he would do it all. And he would be single-handedly beat teams. Just beat it. Just little screens. Here you go, dish. And he had that magnificent, just like, he never hit a hole hard.
No, ever.
He took the ball, and he was just like, okay, like this bounce back and forth and wait to see what the lineman would do. It was one of the best things because you'd have all those running backs to just hit that hole and try to just get as many yards as you possibly can. Instead, he would kind of bounce. Okay, the hole's not the 2-hole. It's not the 2-hole anymore. Now it became the 4-hole. Now I'm going to go hit that hole.
He had what my high school football coach described as twinkle toes, but it actually worked for him. He was he was one of the great ones in the late 2010s for sure.
Oh yeah. Speaking of, we'll keep talking about football because I love fantasy football. I absolutely love that stuff. I wish I could incorporate like fantasy podcasting because I would love to talk about it. Before COVID, I was into 7 leagues, up to 7. Now I'm in 1. I don't have the time for it anymore. I let Sleevey do all the drafting. I let him do all the research, and then I can sit on the couch on Sunday and just sit there with Red Zone and just be like, yeah, let's go.
Who you drafted number 1 this year, DR? Who you drafting? If you're number 1 overall pick, who's your guy?
I'm going CMC.
CMC?
It's got to be.
You got
It's
CMC
got to be. Shanahan, no. I don't know.
I'm seeing a lot of JJ this year at number 1.
Really?
I'm shocked.
No, CMC's listen, the guy.
I mean, he's that guy. You know, he's got those numbers.
Listen, I'm going to totally switch players and topics. I love Brock Purdy. I'm a 49er fan. But I think anybody can run that offense.
Oh, anybody
I
can.
think if they were left with Sam Darnold, the Niners are going 12-5, 12-6.
It's one of the great
teams.
teams.
18 games?
It's one of the great teams without the quarterback being good that we've ever seen.
Yeah.
In the past, like 2 decades.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
It's one of the most complete teams we've ever seen.
I just think anybody can plug in there. And if they came out and said Brock Purdy's not playing this year, he's not there.
I think he'd still be fine.
I think they could trade Lance and Sam Darnold would win 12 games with that team. Just because Shanahan has everything down. It's like everyone knows their role, everyone knows what to do, and they do their role right. Now, it was a shame that Brock Purdy got hurt last year. I think the Niners would have beat the Eagles even with that really slow start in that game. I think the Niners were the team. I think that, listen, the Super Bowl was one of the best Super Bowls of all time, the Chiefs-Eagles. But I wish the Niners were in there. I'm a Niner fan. If fantasy-wise, though, it's hard not to take CMC, which is the ability that what he can do, even when they blow teams out, and even when he's only getting like 3 quarters worth of work, he's still putting up those stats. But I've taken that motherfucker 2 times in the first round before, and those are the 2 times he's been hurt. So I'll let Sleevey make the decision on that if I got first pick. You know what I like doing though, and I'll bounce this off you here.
Yeah.
I'm in a league where we do our draft picks 1 through 12, and then one goes. Whoever has the first pick can go wherever they want.
Oh.
So if they have one, he can go. You know what? I'm not big on the 1 hole. I'm gonna go 5 hole. So now the 5 hole's taken. So whoever has a 5 hole, when it gets to him, he cannot take the 5 hole. And so it goes all the way down. So I've seen it where it sucks for the tail end guys because a guy who might have like the 10th pick, he might be forced to take a pick that he's like, I don't want 12. I liked 10, but now I got to go 7, because sometimes the 5, 6, 7 hole is like, am I reaching for a guy or am I just going to take that steady Eddie guy who's going to get the carry, that Derrick Henry type player, right?
Yeah. No, I've always been a steady guy. I've never taken risks. The one time I took risks, I took what's his name? I took Mitch Trubisky the year he was freaking drafted. And I will never, my friends will never let me live that.
Never
down.
reach on a rookie quarterback again.
Oh no, it's the Trubisky guy. Yeah, you can't trust his advice. Get him out of here.
No, but those guys love those drafters. Those are the guys I'm like, yeah, take that guy. Take that guy.
You're just waiting to take Jamar Chase with your second pick. You're like, go ahead.
Yeah,
Take Tony
exactly.
Pollard. Come on, go ahead, take him.
I love fantasy. I'm in a league. It's 16 guys. This is deep, guys. Listen, wait till you hear this one.
That's a deep
It's
league.
16 teams. You can start up to 2 quarterbacks. So there are no free agent quarterbacks available. There's no starting quarterbacks available in the waiver wire. It's an auction draft, and it's an IDP league. So you start 2 defensive linemen. You start 2 linebackers. You start 2 defensive backs, and you start a defensive flex.
Oh my God, you're making me pull out defensive statistics now. Jesus.
It is so much fun though, because you're sitting there watching a game, and you're like, I got Harrison Smith right now on defense, and on the other side of the ball, I got Amon-Ra St. Brown. And it's awesome. And then there's no defense. You don't have a defensive squad. You have special teams. So you pick a team based off kick return, punt block, like that stuff, special team stuff. It gets so crazy and it's so fun. The downside of it, it's so deep. It's your roster size is so big. The auction ends up taking 7 hours long. It's an all day. My wife hates it because she's like, oh, it's this league. Okay, I'll see you at fucking 10 p.m. because it's all day long. And we used to, get this. This is a great story. This league started. We used to, before the internet, we were doing this 15, 20 years ago, before we had CBS Sports and fucking all the apps. We would get together in this fucking conference room. We had 16 owners, 30 guys, because everybody had a partner. And we'd have a guy. We'd hire a guy to come in with the fucking podium.
Get out of here.
And it had a gavel.
Oh, my God.
And he would go, all right, here we go. Drew Brees. You're, okay, nominate a player. Drew Brees. Okay, Drew Brees. $1. Okay, $2, $3.
Holy shit.
These ones would take 15 hours. We would start at 9, 10 a.m., and we wouldn't get done till 10, 11 o'clock at night.
That's incredible.
You're talking, we're doing 300-400 players this way.
Oh, my goodness. I've never heard of anything
But
like
you know
that in
how
my life.
excited I was as a kid going, I was 14, 15, and I'm like, we have the gavel. We would get the taco guy outside. We would have taco breaks.
Wait a minute, taco guys here.
Yeah.
We're in.
We're all,
yeah,
and those were the good days. Now you just sit in your house on the computer.
Yeah.
It tells you the next best available.
Yeah, you've got AC/DC blaring in the background, trying to pump you up for something that isn't happening yet.
Yeah. Oh man, I love fantasy. I want to talk about Fanatics Live. I'm gonna really full transition here. I've now had 3 lives on Fanatics Live. 3 lives. I think it's a great platform. I think once they can incorporate the web feature, Android, and have all the things. I've been hit up by 15, 20 people who break with us on Instagram, who are like, what? Why don't they have Android? If you're listening, Fanatics, I know a couple of you guys listen to the show. Please get the Android going, because I'm missing out on money, because I know a lot of those guys who would come in and start spending. And it's a lot easier to spend when you can just click that button.
Oh yeah, they need to get everywhere fast. I mean, that's just more money in their pocket too. You
Yeah.
know?
I love the process. It's very smooth. The chat is instant. I'm not having to worry about these delays on Instagram. The delay can be really bad for communication issues. I can play any music I want, so I can sing any music I want. I don't have to worry about getting banned, which is amazing.
You hear that? You can't ban him for singing Katy Perry this time.
No, nah, you ain't getting me.
You ain't getting him this time.
Hey, listen, my playlist will go from Taylor Swift to 50 Cent,
Shout out Swifties.
the Swifties, to Biggie Smalls, to Moana soundtrack,
There you go.
best soundtrack of all Disney.
Oh,
Can't compare.
I actually agree. That
Moana
thing's-
is one of my
Oh,
favorites.
it slaps.
Oh, it's so great. Moana, make way, make way.
Wait, we're not
Grandma
on-
dying.
Wait.
I cry every time Grandma dies.
Oh,
And I
dude.
know it's coming.
That one, and then when that one in Coco where he sings to the
Oh,
grandma.
Yes,
oh my goodness.
remember me.
My
baby.
goodness. Pixar, what are you doing to us?
They're tearing at my heart. Listen, before I had girls too, I would have been stone cold. Be like, you have daughters? Now I'm like, oh God, this polar bear commercial is fucking me up. All right, I love the Fanatics Live. I'm gonna start really growing on there. We're gonna start expanding. I have a breaker coming in from LA, California, new breaker.
Ooh, tease.
Teaser. I'm really excited about what's going to happen with the Fanatic stuff. Their percentage is way lower than what I'm getting on Whatnot, which is huge.
More money, more money,
More money. And I'm talking like half what Whatnot charges me.
Oh, we
Whatnot's at like
that.
listen, I'll say it. I'm at like 12.9 or 11.9, somewhere in there. Which is great. And I think Fanatics is going to, with their platform and their reach and their capability to have these athletes on standby, I think on big drops, they're going to start interjecting prospects and baseball players. And, hey, we're going to get this guy, Hall of Famer, to come in and rip with DR while he's ripping Bowman draft. The thing they did with Brady, putting the Brady autos in draft. Listen, a lot of people don't like it. I think it's different. Why not? Why not? You have a new chase. That's what everybody wants. When I talk to these guys that rip with us, they're like, we want a chase. We want these legitimate case hits where they're not just insert. Find that card that everyone's like, we want this card. What's the odds on this? What is it? 1 in 300,000 packs. Fuck yeah. You hit one of those cards, it could be a life-changing card. The Brady autos will be